Hello. All of a sudden, you appeared. I appeared. I was just gazing outside on this very, very hot day here in Santa Barbara. Not a leaf is moving. It is so still and so hot, and we have to create our own breeze with as many fans as we can find in the house. So, welcome to the Advancement Center, and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. It makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? And it holds surprises for you at every turn. When you're in tune with miracles, be on the lookout because they appear out of nowhere. So I ask, are you prepared? Just this past week, David Best, in his inimitable style of truth laced with joy, described a scene before descent to Earth via the birth canal, entitled, Here We Go. What could be more appropriate? In the midst of all the laughter and frivolity, the accuracy of forgetting one's origin and even their creator once the physical world takes over was and is of great concern. And David wrote what I'm going to read right now. Well, this is how it all starts. This is the story of how you and I began our journey into the physical plane, into the land of forgetfulness, and into the place where we would assist all humanity and grow and expand exponentially. Yeah, that's it. We have literally been dropped behind enemy lines to infiltrate the system that was set up to control, dominate, and manipulate all humanity. And at the same time, a place that was created for you to experience the physical plane and expand and grow. A conundrum, a paradox, and a mystery all rolled into one. And yet, we are here. Or shall I say, here we are. Our mission that we chose to accept is multi-layered and filled with many submissions. We have come to expand and grow, to satisfy a longing to know more of ourselves. But we have mostly come to assist humanity, to shine light of where we have come from into the darkness of where we have gone, to show all beings who are living in this physical reality that they are divine, eternal, spiritual beings, never having been born and never able to die. That they are not the body that they see in the mirror, that they are not the thoughts that they have in their heads, that they are simply life itself, operating in a form for what will seem like 1 second of an eternal existence. A being so grand, one that can never be fully known, comprehended, or given a name. For all labels are just designations that, although needed here, are ultimately just limiting in their nature. You've never heard that anywhere else. That is so powerful and accurate. And it gives me great honor and pleasure to share those words with you. He talks about education. Well, the Latin word educare means to train or to mold. It is one of the two Latin roots of the English word education. Yeah, educare, which means ready for this? To lead out. And I have in parenthesis, of what? Of who we are? Of what we carry? And who we remember? That's pause. Well, that gives cause for a pause. Wow. There's something. All right, I'll find it. If it's here, I'll find it. When I was a new mother, my go to guru was Dr. Spock, not the one you see on video. But Dr. Spock, he had the answers for everyone. And one day, I was out of the room and I had very safely put my new baby, David, in the middle of a giant king size bed, knowing he'll be safe. Well, I couldn't have been away for a few minutes, for more than a few minutes. I came back and there was no baby, no David. I was stunned, frantic. I don't know. All I know is that I finally got my head in gear and I said, where did he go? And he never turned over before. This was his new trick. He must have turned over, rolled off the bed, down onto the floor, and under the curtain or the drape. I was scared out of my wits. So, of course, I ran for Dr. Spock's book. He had the answers to everything. And he said, if this is the first time your baby has fallen, it will not be the last. So I was put at ease. But my God, we are so unprepared to receive these magical beings. Now, I would like to write a book for new parents, and it has nothing to do with what Dr. Spock said. I would write, relax. You have just received the greatest gift. Just keep him or her safe, dry, but most importantly, listen. Listen. And you may just be exposed to the most heavenly message from where they're coming from. And once again, relax. You have just received the greatest gift. Just keep him or her safe, dry, but most importantly, listen. It may not be in English words. It may be a gesture. They do not come empty. What I like to think is they reawaken that part of you that you and I have forgotten. And certainly don't teach, interpret, mold, or not pay attention. Just love and care. No expectation, demands, and most of all, keeping score and comparisons. They truly are odious. So being a mother, full-time mother, and a father is a big job of joy. And when you know that this little one is bringing magic and miracles with them, it makes it all the more special. Now, here's a story. It just brings me to my own experience. Where shall I go? I can go anywhere. I had an assignment from my college class in preparation to becoming a teacher. And I had to develop a game of sorts. So what I did is I got my 3 children, who were all in high school at this time, and I said, give me the elements, the best elements of all the games you've ever played. Parcheesi, Monopoly. What are the elements? What did you love? And they were right there. You know, you give kids something they know and they can share with you. That's great. So they said it has to be surprising. It has to be not predictable all the time, and an element of danger and whatever. So I created a game. I took an old game board, put some oak tag, drew the boxes, and it all happened. And there was a charade element, and then there was At any rate, it was everything that my kids and I developed. And I knew it was good, but I wanted to test market it. So I took my makeshift game to a fourth grade class in Long Beach, Long Island, where I was assigned as the student teacher. So I started there, and the kids were great. I'm not sure how old you are when you're in the fourth grade. Maybe about 10. I'm not sure. 9, 10, maybe. At any rate, we played the game. It was an overnight hit to the point where every time I came to work in the morning, they were hanging out of the door as I walked down the hall saying, "Did you bring the game? Did you bring the game? Did you bring the game?" So we played, and it was terrific. And the kids loved it. But in the meantime, what were they doing? They were answering personal questions of what they loved and what they would like to change and how they can act it out. And every time they did something that the card read that they turned up, they got a thank you card. And so they were growing their stack of thank you cards, and they were playing the game, and they were expressing their innermost feelings. And the head teacher just stood there, and she said, "Barbara, you are magic." And I didn't know where I was coming. At any rate, it was terrific, and I loved my time there. In fact, I remember those kids. I see them now. And there was one little boy, Jeffrey, who was having a devil of a time with fractions. He just couldn't get the hang of the number on top and the number on the bottom and the denominator so I said, "Okay, Jeffrey, do you like pizza?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." And I cut out a big circle. I said, "Here's our pizza. Now, it's just you and me. So what are we going to do? Let's split it down the middle, and we each take half." It's a lot of pizza. And then I said, "But how about if two more people come? What are you going to do?" He said, "Oh, you just cut it in half and you make four." I said, "Okay. And what's each piece called?" He said, "Oh, 1/4." I said, "That's right. 1/4 is 1/4, and you're absolutely right." And then we made it more difficult. We made 8 people and then 12. And he was in his element. He loved it. I said, "Guess what? You just mastered fractions. If 8 people come and you have one pizza, what's called each piece? An eighth." He looked at me as if to say, "Why do they make it so difficult when it's so simple? Isn't that secret to making it simple?" Now, the nice thing about where how the school was situated was about a block away from the boardwalk. And beyond the boardwalk was the beach and the Atlantic Ocean. And during school hours, when the sun was shining its brightest, even in the winter, all the grandmas and grandpas would sit there in the sun. So I got this idea. I said, You know, we have a lot of information, but we can always learn. So why don't we all put on our coats and walk down to the boardwalk, and we could be like newspaper reporters, and each one choose a grandma or a grandpa and ask them questions. Ask them questions about where they live, what do they like, do they have any children, and whatever else you could think of. Well, a chance to leave the school? Oh, this is good, an outing. So we all traipsed down to the boardwalk, and I did nothing. I watched, and I saw the magic. I saw the grandmas light up, and when a child came over and they put their arm around them and they made friendships, and it was just, these were lonely people and these were gregarious kids. You just put them together and you have a good time. And everybody is learning, everyone is benefiting, everyone's in the fresh air. And then I made a suggestion. I said, why don't you ask a grandma or a grandpa if they would like to come and visit our class? And maybe a grandma could teach us how to make something that we could eat. Oh my God. You'd think I just discovered uranium. They were thrilled. The kids were thrilled. The grandmas were thrilled. They were being recognized as being able to cook and bake. And we had a marriage of the two ages. And sure enough, we had grandmas coming to the class, and we made simple dishes that we all enjoyed. I loved it. And now I realize my life has been sprinkled with putting people together, understanding what people need, and having fun. Last week, I told you about my friend Sam in the hospital, that we had these conversations. And if I missed a day and came back later, he just replayed our last conversation. This is available at all times with everyone. And that is my complete message for humanity. Yeah, that was fun. Now, have you ever heard of the ledger in the sky? Wow. When I met Robert soon thereafter, I heard his story of how his mother in Australia always spoke about wanting a footpath for the walkers to get close to the bus stop. And Robert just said, well, put your order in the ledger in the sky. And she did. And they heard her. And she got a footpath. So I'm passing that on to you. If you have a desire, now, unfortunately, the desire was there, the willingness was there, but I didn't know how to copyright the game. And I needed help, and I didn't ask for it. and I didn't know about the ledger. And it's been a bit of a sadness. And I've ever since I've been trying to recreate that game. But then I realized I must have put it in the ledger in the sky because when I was at the toy fair, the Javits Center in New York, I came across a woman sitting next to a game that she had created, and it had won 6 awards for excellence. And it was my game. Thank you, Robert, for allowing me not to go cuckoo. But it's been so much fun to tell you about an experience I had. And then remember the joy on the face of Jeffrey when he found out how simple fractions can be. And the funny part is that was 50 years ago. For all I know, Jeffrey is teaching fractions to a grandchild. But that's what kindness is. It's like lighting a candle and then lighting another candle with that candle and all the candles. Do you enjoy being you? Listen and remember the magic and miracles you brought with you. Well, Thursday night was another magic trip to India to discover some more creativity with pastels. And here it is. Wait a minute. There. I guess that's it. I hope you like it. I don't know where this is, but it's definitely part of my imagination by now. It was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I feel as though I opened a huge volume of story. I just shared and realized so much. Jeffrey really taught me the simplicity of listening and being kind and sharing. So never underestimate the power of love and kindness, which leads to a perfect life with perfect health and a beautiful future of joy. and happiness. And with so much love, I thank you for joining me. I am Barbara.